Hi, and welcome to this week's Member Spotlight. I'm Susie. It's my great pleasure to have you here and introduce you to one of our amazing Her Business Network members. Every week, we open the doors to one of our member businesses, taking you behind the scenes of how that woman is growing her business and also bringing you some of her insights that she brings from her expertise. Because you see, inside of Her Business, we are a community of women business owners across all sorts of industries. Some are online businesses, some are offline businesses, some are newer businesses, and maybe startups with one person, and some are scaling businesses with teams of people. We have some who are solopreneurs, some who are micropreneurs, some who are entrepreneurs, and they could be selling products or services. So every Monday, you get to not only meet one of our incredible members, but as I said, also get a little bit of insight into how she's running her business, who she's serving, and then she brings some of her top tips based on her industry experience and gives them to you absolutely free right here on our show every week. So today I am thrilled to have Natalie Fitzgerald from More Than Strata. Now, she's one of our members who provides customer-focused, ethical, transparent strata management services to owners who are disenfranchised. And especially at a time like COVID, where more people are working from home, her role is even more important because she is working with those who've lost trust in the strata management industry and who are looking for solutions. She does this through her Strata Leader program, her partnerships with leading technologies, and I'm going to say that again. She does this through the delivery of her exclusive Strata Leader program and partnerships with leading technologies that prevent issues getting lost. Now, these are important issues that are being faced by residents and owners all over the country. Please make very welcome Natalie. Let me bring you on. Hello, hello.
Hi, Susie. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you here. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do? Because I kind of botched it up at the end there.
Yeah, sure. Look, we provide strata management services that go beyond what people are used to dealing with, which is where the manager tends to tell the client what they will and won't do for them, which is kind of strange and wouldn't happen in any other service industry. So we want to bring the service back into strata management. But it's really important that we do that ethically and transparently. So at the end of the day, we're responsible for other people's money and their biggest investments. So people need to have trust that you're looking after that investment and that money in a way that's wholly transparent and ethical to them. So we really wanted to bring those cornerstones into everything we do for our clients.
I love that. And who would you say is your ideal client?
Yeah, look, we made the decision very early on in our business not to work for developers, which means we don't generally look after brand new buildings. Those buildings are normally taken over by someone who knows the developer. So normally when clients are looking for us and they find us, it's because things have gone wrong for them. They've had an experience that wasn't a positive one. It wasn't transparent for them. They didn't know, they weren't given information about where their fees were going. They were given bad advice. And we're kind of there to help them pick up their pieces, find the value in their property again, and to get their lifestyle back so they can enjoy their homes instead of worrying about strata issues.
Well, you've kind of explained what I was going to ask you about next, but let's go a little deeper. What are those problems that your client is typically having when they come out screaming looking for a service like yours?
Yeah, look, it can be anything from a service issue, and it's a bit of an industry or sector-wide problem in that managers generally are undercharging for their services, which means to make money, they have to manage a lot of clients. They're unable to kind of get back to those clients in a time that's reasonable or action items as quickly as they need to be actioned, or worse yet, they just disappear. So a big part of what we've tried to do is one, price properly so that doesn't occur, but also use technologies that other really big companies use to stop that happening. So we've partnered with Zendesk as an example. We've integrated Zendesk with Asana. Asana is integrated with Box. So we're using technologies that are available out of the box, but to really make that experience for the client a better one, and they know that their issues can be resolved. So that number one, and the easiest issue, I suppose, on some levels to fix, because the technology was there. You just had to be willing to invest in it.
Right,
The
and I
next
imagine
issue,
that really helps
yeah.
you differentiate yourself from your competitors as well because of these partnerships with the technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. So a
Mm.
lot of our competitors have settled on their Strata software, and we obviously run a Strata software program too to deal with accounting and things like that. But what it doesn't do, what none of the market Strata softwares do, is offer a really good CRM platform.
Mm.
So it was important for us to be able to find one. And I know some of our very large competitors, there are some multinationals and things like that in this sector, have invested in building solutions from scratch. As a startup, that was absolutely not an option for us. So we were able to kind of look to what are the solutions out there. And when you find a product that Microsoft is using or Uber is using or these other gigantic companies and having success with, you kind of realize there's no reason why we can't bring that into our small business too.
I love what you're saying there, because this is something for everybody watching, and those who are watching, if you've got questions, do let us know, is that there's things you can do that you can add to your service offering that will really help you stand out. And sometimes you don't even have to make those things yourself. You just have to think about what is out there that will help me deliver my a better service to my customer, a more efficient way of replying or managing my clients. And there are, like you said, some out-of-the-box solutions, but no one's packaged them together the way that you have before. So you're offering something really unique. Now, there's some advice that I'm sure you find yourself giving your clients time after time that I thought would be really useful, especially for those watching who do have strata properties. So would you take us behind the scenes of your usual wonderful mentoring?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the big things we love to do, particularly because we do end up with clients who've had bad experiences, re-empower them as the client and as the owner of the property. So one of the big messages we're always telling people is it's your building and your money. And you can tell the manager what you expect and need from them. The manager is not there to make decisions for you. They are there to facilitate. They are there to support and make sure you have the information you need to make a good decision. But at the end of the day, you're the client, and feel free to own that role as the client. Often strata managers will wave the expert flag around and sometimes, prevent the client from having their own voice. So we're really here to re-empower the client to own that space.
Love it.
The other big thing is community takes time. The reason I love this job, I've done it for 20 years now, is it's my job to build community, and how amazing and lucky am I to get to do that. But it takes time. The first time you hold a barbecue for your neighbors, you might only have one person show up. The first time you send out, newsletters asking for feedback or surveys, you might only get 2 or 3 back. But if you just keep at it and be persistent with it, then you will get there with building amazing community. And when we extend the concept of home from outside of the apartment and into the common property, we add so much value to the building. Buildings have reputations. And if you're able to have a building that is known for having community, your rental prices will go up. The value of your if you're an occupier will increase, and the lifestyle is going to be better too. So community is key, and it's worth doing, but it does take time and commitment. And finally is a really practical one, and that is that low levies are not a selling point. We often, not so much anymore, and I guess that's the whole point, is once upon a time we all looked for low levies. But now we know that that's probably a sign that there's not enough money in the sinking fund or the capital works fund, depending on what state you're in, it's called different things. Not enough money in the savings account to keep the building looked after. Not enough money to do the upgrades that are necessary, and maybe not even enough money to get the basics done. So think of levies as an investment as opposed to a bill that you have to pay that feels painful every month. It's actually an investment in the property.
That's so interesting. Now, do you work with clients? I know you're based in Sydney, just in New South Wales, or do you have clients all over?
Yeah, at the moment we're just in New South Wales. There's definitely plans to extend and eventually make the company kind of national. It's a service we'd love to extend beyond Sydney, but each state has different legislation that governs. So sticking with our expert place at the moment, which is Sydney, to get everything kind of bedded down and perfect, and then we'll look to extend for sure.
And there's more than enough market, right? There is so much apartment living in this state, and it seems to be growing by the minute. It probably is
Absolutely.
actually growing by the minute.
Absolutely. certainly have to look out the window and see a crane in the air, right? So it's a sustainable business, and I think in some ways that's what's gone wrong. Is the sector's become a little bit complacent because there is so much business out there, and that's why we're kind of really looking to shake up that service delivery.
Well, we're going to talk about the products and services that you offer and how people can make themselves available to you to support them with the issues that they might be having with their strata property. But before we do that, you're a relatively new member of the HerBusiness Network. In fact, it's only been just a few weeks, and you've already dived in and have started to make the most of this new membership. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I don't even know where to start and what a difference the membership has made to me already. So I've already connected with some women to outsource and get some help in my business, particularly in relation to marketing. So I've already able to get people who speak the same language that we speak inside the membership, which makes that communication so much easier. I have the marketing mastermind. I have completely redone my nurture strategy in a week. I have, been able to A/B test a landing page, which has been really exciting. So the feedback and the lift up has just given me the confidence to go, okay, these things I've kind of thought about, I'm just going to go ahead and start planning them and doing them and implementing them where it makes sense, and finding amazing other women to help me do that when there's a gap in our business.
I love what you're saying there, because you've really dived in, and this is how you get the most of your membership. Is you dive in, you start to use other people's services or get their advice or use them as a think tank, and you start to take action. And really what I have found, and the groups that I've belonged to, and why I'm so passionate about this network, is that it's so much easier to do it when there's other people also on the same journey. We're all in different industries and different size businesses, as I mentioned, but we all need to nurture our customers. So there's a pathway for you inside of the network. We all need to have a copywriter or a bookkeeper or a administrative service or somewhere to outsource, and you can find all that right here inside the membership. So I want to acknowledge you on actually diving in and making the most of what you've already invested in. So tell us a little bit about the products and services that you think would be most useful for those watching to hear about. And I'm going to pop up your URL because this is where they're going to be able to find you. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost, one of the product that I guess we're most proud of is the Strata Leader program. That's come about because one of the business partners in our business comes from a corporate background, and we really wanted to bring business learning into Strata, because at the end of the day, there's two sides of any strata. There is the community, which is the passionate pit I was talking about before, but there's also an investment, and an investment worth millions of dollars. I think the combined value in New South Wales strata property is $17 billion plus. So we're talking massive money here. That's not been treated with the same respect that it would be if that was money in someone's bank account, if that was a business. So what we want to do is bring all those business learnings and then empower our clients in that way as well. So we run Strata Leader, where we kind of work with our strata committee members to turn them into a board that functions the same way a business board would be. So we put together plans, we put together key dates around those plans, objectives that need to be achieved, strategies, just like we've been doing it in the marketing mastermind.
Right, it's like a business, right? It's like a little business.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're taking all those business ideas and strategies and putting them into the strata world. So owners are then able to get more value out of their properties. So an example may be older buildings, and I'm sure it's the same in every state. Balconies need to be replaced over time. They fall apart. They get concrete cancer. So you could replace like with like, or maybe there's an opportunity to build bigger balconies. Maybe there's an opportunity to put a balustrade on that's going to give you a better view. Maybe there's an opportunity to do all sorts of things that are actual value add. So you spend a bit more, but you get lots more back, just like we try and do in business. So we bring all those ideas and values in for our clients. And we call that Strata Leader. We love it. It's no one else does it, so it's a unique selling point for us. And it's doing that empowerment, which is so important to us, that we're empowering the clients to make the right decisions.
As someone who has a really high value for knowledge and learning, I am just loving what you're saying, in that you're taking something that's not being done out there and you are giving these people the tools through their education to really show up as a leader in their community, in their homes, and in the people that they. And I just so agree. It's like the reason sometimes these strata committees go crazy is because they're not treated like a little business. And you are, like you said, you've got so much people's money, and their homes, and their sometimes their biggest investment ever, is in your hands. So really, really exciting. So that's the address to go to and find out about the program. So I haven't been across to the site today, but it'll be obvious when people get there, right?
It does. It has its own tab. You can then pop in there and have a look at what we're doing. So yeah, education is so important in empowerment. So that's definitely a big part of what we're doing in a real tangible way. A lot of our competitors will have education days, and those are great as well. I always recommend people to get in if there's an opportunity to learn, do it. But we wanted to turn it into something that people can take away, and that's individualized, and that's for their property and their money.
I want to ask you a couple of questions about your business before you go. How long have you been in business?
Business has been operating full pelt for about 12 months now, so it's new. We had a rebrand within 2 months of that, so it's definitely been a baptism of fire. What we thought was a fun and quirky name, nobody else understood what we were doing. So note there to do some market research before you commit to things like that.
That is great. That is great that you found out and that you made it, you weren't so attached to your original idea that you just pivoted and you made the change. That's fantastic, Natalie.
Yeah. It became pretty obvious that we had to do it, and we had to move quickly in doing that. I think planning is really important. There's been times along the way where we have gone ahead. An example is we decided to advertise on the Full Story podcast with Guardian newspaper before it was as big as it is now. They had a really good deal in terms of pricing. On the new name, we didn't have a website, so we slapped together a website in like 3 days. In hindsight, we probably could have planned that out a bit better. So there's been lots of lessons along the way, but lots of kind of amazing successes as well. The new brand has worked really well. We're getting lots of traction in the marketplace. We reached our 1 million impressions on Google and social media.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we set, I think that setting realistic goals along the way and then celebrating them when you're able to tick them off has been important too.
I love that. What would you like to leave us with? Firstly, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Thank you for having me. I would just recommend, if you are not already kind of reaching out to the network of amazing women in business with HerBusiness, by all means, do it. It's been a changer for me in the last month already in terms of connecting with other people who've been able to fill the gaps in my business in such a caring way. And I've loved it. Thank
you so much. Very excited for your growth.
Thank you. It's so great to be part of the network. Thanks, Susie.
Thank you so much. All right, the lovely Natalie Fitzgerald. What a smart cookie she is, and she's growing her business. We were chatting just before we went on live, and know that she's been growing her team, and I'm just so excited for her. And just remember some of the things that she said, not only about Strata, but also about business and being willing to pivot, to invest in yourself, to invest in your education, to surround yourself with the right people. And even though she's a new member, I noticed she was very active in the community, and I can see that she was making the most. She was really showing up. Show up is one of our high values inside of HerBusiness. Even if you're introverted, there's ways for you to show up in our community and to make the right contacts, get the right referrals, get the right marketing advice, get feedback on your projects. And so that's what we do inside of the HerBusiness Network. And while our doors are normally closed, we are opening for 3 days at the end of November. This is my official announcement. If you would like to join us, the doors are currently closed. You can request an invitation to join over at herbusinessnetwork.com. Once you go there, you'll see it's a very simple, give us your first name and email address. Then as soon as the doors are open, you will be the first to know. At that point, you can make your decision whether you are ready to come on in and join an incredible community of women business owners, everything from people who are just brand new in business, never been in business before, to veterans who've been in there, 34 years, actually, we heard someone say this morning. But we're all female entrepreneurs. And that's kind of what we have in common. And we're all on our own path, whether that path is the path of a solopreneur, it's just me and I'm happy that way. I just want to have a sustainable one-person business and maybe outsource a few things, or maybe you want to build a team and that's your core thing. Your path is a little different. The planning, the systems, the financials, the marketing you need are slightly different. Or you've already grown a team and you want to go for the stratosphere. So you are looking at really big growth. Again, there is a path for you inside of our community. So join us at HerBusinessNetwork.com. It's been my pleasure having Natalie Fitzgerald. Go ahead and check her out. Wherever you're watching this video, if you're not watching in real time, there will be a link to her website. You want to go ahead and check that out. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye for now.